Hello and welcome to another part of numerical analysis. In the previous part, we have learned about Gauss elimination method to solve a system of linear algebraic equations. Now in this part, we shall discuss about Gauss-Seidel iteration method to solve a system of linear algebraic equations. So let us consider these n equations comprising of n variables x1, x2, xn. So these are the n equations. So we have to solve all these n equations. That means we have to find the values of the unknown variables x1, x2, xn. Now this Gauss-Seidel iteration method is an iteration method. In this case, initially we shall assume one trial solution and we shall obtain the better approximation step by step using iteration formula. So to find the iteration formula in this method, we first write all these n equations in some different ways. Now from the first equation, we keep the variable x1 on the left hand side and we take all the remaining values on the right hand side. Then the right hand side becomes 1 by a11, it is multiplied by b1 minus a12x2 minus a13x3 up to minus a1n xn. Now from the second equation, we keep the variable x2 on the left hand side and we take all the remaining values on the right hand side. So from the second equation, we write x2 equal to 1 by a22, it is multiplied by b2 minus a21x1 minus a23x3 etc. up to minus a2n xn. And continuing in this way, finally from the last equation, we keep this variable xn on the left hand side and we take all the values on the right hand side. So it is xn equal to 1 by ann, it is multiplied by bn minus an1 x1 minus an2 x2 ultimately minus an minus 1 x n minus 1. So we have written all these n equations in this different form. Now since this is an iteration method, so initially we shall assume one trial solution. So let us assume that the trial solution is x1 0, x2 0 up to xn 0. If we put this initial trial solution in these equations, then we shall get one better solution. Suppose we call the new solutions as x1 1, x2 1 and xn minus 1. Again we shall put this solution in these equations, so we shall get one better approximation. So continuing in this way, we shall find the successive approximations of the exact solutions. This method is known as Gauss-Seidel iteration method. Now we shall explain this Gauss-Seidel iteration method by considering a system of three equations having three variables. So let us assume that these three are the equations with three variables x1, x2, x3. So from these three equations, we have to find the values of the unknown variables x1, x2, x3. Now as usual, the first equation can be written in this form: x1 equal to 1 by a11, it is multiplied by b1 minus a12 x2 minus a13 x3. Now the second equation can be written in this form: x2 equal to 1 by a22, it is multiplied by b2 minus a21 x1 minus a23 x3. And from the third equation, we write x3, this is equal to 1 by a33, it is multiplied by b3 minus a31 x1 minus a32 x2. So we have written these three given equations in this defined form. Now we shall assume one trial solution. So let us assume that the trial solution is x1 0, x2 0 and x3 0. Now using this trial solution, we shall get one better approximate solution. So now if we put this initial solution in the first equation, then the value of x2 is x2 0 and the value of x3 is x3 0. So if we put all these two values, then we shall get one value of x1. This value will be called x11, a better approximation of the solution of x1. Now we have one better approximation of x1, which is x11. Now if we put this x11 and x30 in the second equation, then we get one better approximation of x2. So now we have two approximations of x1 and x2, but only one approximation of x3. Now the second approximation of x3 can be found if we put the values of x1 and x2 in the third equation. Now in this case, we shall put the better approximation of x1 and x2 in the third equation. Let us write these equations more specifically. Suppose we want to find the k plus 1th approximation of x1. So if we want to find the k plus 1th approximation of x1, that means kth approximation of x1, x2, x3, these are known. So we have already calculated the kth approximation of x1k, x2k and x3k. So these are the kth approximations of x1, x2, x3. So suppose all these three are obtained. So if we put the kth approximations of x2 and x3 in the first equation, so if we put the kth approximations of x2 and x3 in the first equation, then we shall get one new approximation of x1, which will be the k plus 1th approximation of x1. Next, we want to calculate the k plus 1th approximation of x2. In this case, we need the values of x1 and x3. We have the kth approximation of x3, so we put the kth approximation of x3. In this case, we can put the kth approximation of x1, but we have already calculated the k plus 1th approximation of x1, which is a better result. So instead of using the kth approximation of x1, we can easily apply the k plus 1th approximation of x1 in this equation. So from this equation, we can easily get the k plus 1th approximation of x2. Now from the third equation, we need to find the k plus 1th approximation of x3. For that, we need the values of x1 and x2. Now here also we can easily use the kth approximations of x1 and x2, but we have already obtained the k plus 1th approximations of x1 and x2. So instead of using the kth approximation, we are using the k plus 1th approximation. This will give the better result. Now we have the k plus 1th approximation of x3. So using the kth approximations, we can easily find the k plus 1th approximation of x1, x2, x3. Again, using these values, we can easily get the k plus 2th approximation of x1, x2, x3. So by using this iteration formulae, we can easily find the successive approximations of x1, x2, x3. We shall stop computing all this when two successive approximations will be similar, correct up to desired order of accuracy. Suppose in the question it is given that we have to find the solution correct up to 3 decimal places, then we shall stop computing all of this when we get two successive approximations which are similar, correct up to 3 decimal places. This method is known as Gauss-Seidel iteration method. Now since this is an iteration method, so this method is autocorrect method. If in some step we make some error, then the method will automatically correct the result. As I have said that Gauss-Seidel iteration method is iteration method. So this method may or may not converge. It depends on the equations. So the equations must satisfy some special condition so that the solution can be convergent. So let us write the conditions. Now it can be obtained that the Gauss-Seidel iteration method converges if the system of equations are diagonally dominant. So diagonally So a system of n equations comprising of n variables x1, x2, xn, these are convergent by Gauss-Seidel iteration method if these equations are diagonally dominant. So what does it mean by diagonally dominant? A system of equations is called diagonally dominant if for the first equation, if modulus of a11, this is greater than the modulus of a12 plus modulus of a13 up to modulus of a1n. And from the second equation, if modulus of a22, this is greater than modulus of a21 plus modulus of a23 up to plus modulus of a2n. And continuing in this way, from the final equation, if modulus of ann, this is greater than modulus of an1 plus modulus of an2 up to modulus of an minus 1. If all these conditions are satisfied, then this system is called diagonally dominant. That means the modulus of the diagonal coefficients are greater than sum of the modulus of the remaining elements of the same row. So from the first row, this modulus of this diagonal element must be greater than sum of the modulus of the remaining elements. Similarly, for the second row, if the modulus of this diagonal element a22 is greater than sum of the modulus of the remaining elements, and similarly for the other equations. If all these n conditions are satisfied, then system is called diagonally dominant. Now all these n conditions can be written in a single form like a I its modulus, it should be greater than summation of aij, where j varies from 1 to n and j is not equal to I. Obviously there will be modulus. So a system of n equations is called diagonally dominant if it satisfies these n conditions. Now we shall consider one example. Let us consider this example. Solve the following system of equations by Gauss-Seidel iteration method, correct up to 2 decimal places. So these three are the equations. 3x1 plus 9x2 minus 2x3 equal to 11. 4x1 plus 2x2 plus 13x3 equal to 24. 4x1 minus 2x2 plus x3 equal to minus 8. So to solve these equations by Gauss-Seidel iteration method, we first need to check whether these equations are diagonally dominant or not. If the system is diagonally dominant, then from the first equation, modulus of 3 must be greater than modulus of 9 plus modulus of minus 2, which is not true. So this system is not diagonally dominant. So we have to arrange the equations in such a manner that the system becomes diagonally dominant. So let us write the system like that. We first consider this third equation, which is 4x1 minus 2x2 plus x3 equal to minus 8. Next we consider the first equation, which is 3x1 plus 9x2 minus 2x3 equal to 11. Now we consider the second equation. 4x1 plus 2x2 plus 13x3 equal to 24. Now we shall find that this system is diagonally dominant because from the first equation we have modulus of 4. This is greater than modulus of minus 2 plus modulus of 1. From the second equation we find that modulus of 9, this is greater than modulus of 3 plus modulus of minus 2. And from the third equation we find that modulus of 13, it is greater than modulus of 4 plus modulus of 2. So all these three conditions are satisfied. So this system is diagonally dominant. Now we can solve this system by using Gauss-Seidel iteration method. So to solve this system, we need to write these equations in some defined form. That means from the first equation, we write x1 equal to 1 by 4. It is multiplied by minus 8 plus 2x2 minus x3. So we keep x1 in the left hand side and we take all the values on the right hand side. The second equation can be written as x2 equal to 1 by 9. It is multiplied by 11 minus 3x1 plus 2x3. And the final equation can be written as x3 equal to 1 by 13. It is multiplied by 24 minus 4x1 minus 2x2. So we have converted these three equations in this form. Now we write the iteration formula. We know that the k plus 1th iteration of x1, this will be the kth iteration of x2 and kth iteration of x3. The k plus 1th iteration of x2, this can be found from this equation. This will be k plus 1th iteration and this will be kth iteration, and k plus 1th iteration of x3, it will be k plus 1th iteration of x1 and k plus 1th iteration of x2. So this is our iteration formula. Now since Gauss-Seidel is iteration method, so we have to assume one initial solution. So we assume that the initial trial solution is 0, 0, 0. So we assume that 0, 0, 0 is our initial trial solution. So if we put this solution in this iteration formula, then we get the better approximations of x1, x2 and x3. Now from the first equation, if we put x2 equal to 0 and x3 equal to 0, then we get x1 equal to 1/4 into minus 8. That means we get minus 2. Now from the second equation, in the second equation, if we want to find x2, then it is 1 by 9 into 11 minus 3 into x1 k plus 1. We have already obtained the better value of x1, which is minus 2. So in this case, we shall use minus 2 instead of 0, because this is the latest value we have obtained here. And we shall put the value of x3 as 0, because this is the latest value of x3. So if we use these values, then by using the calculator, we find that x2 is 1.889. Now in the question it is given that we have to find the solution correct up to 2 decimal places. So we shall find all the values which are correct up to 3 decimal places. So we have obtained the latest values of x1 and x2. That means the better approximations of x1 and x2. Now using these two better approximations, we can find the better approximation of x3. So in this equation, we shall put x1 equal to minus 2 and x2 equal to 1.889. If we put these two values in this equation, then we get one better approximation of x3, which will be 2.293, correct up to 3 decimal places. So we have obtained the second approximation, that means one better approximation of x1, x2, x3. Now using this approximation we shall find another better approximation. For that, from the first equation, if we put x2 equal to 1.889 and x3 equal to 2.293, then using the calculator we find that the value of x1 is minus 1.629. Now from the second equation we need to put the values of x1 and x3 to get the value of x2. Now in this case we shall put x1 equal to minus 1.629 because this is the latest value we have obtained from the table. So here we shall put minus 1.629 and in place of x3 we shall put 2.293. So if we use these values we can easily find the value of x2. It will be 2.275. Now using these two values, if we put these two values in the third equation, then we can easily find the value of x3, which will be 1.997. So we have obtained the third approximations of x1, x2, x3. Now using these three approximations we can get the fourth approximation of x1, x2, x3. So from the first equation, if we put x2 equal to 2.275 and x3 equal to 1.997, then we can easily find the value of x1, which will be minus 1.362. Now if we put x1 equal to this value and x3 equal to this value in this second equation, then we get x2 equal to 2.120, and using these two values from the third equation we get x3 equal to 1.939. So this procedure will continue until we get two set of values, actually two successive set of values which are equivalent, correct up to 2 decimal places. So continuing in this way we can easily get the fifth approximations, which are minus 1.425, 2.128 and 1.957, and the sixth approximations are minus 1.425, 2.132 and 1.957. Now if we look the fifth and sixth approximations carefully, then we find that these value correct up to 2 decimal places is minus 1.42, because the next figure is 5, so there is exactly 5, and now since 2 is even, so we have to keep this one as minus 1.42. Similarly this one is minus 1.42. So these two values are same, correct up to 2 decimal places. Now we consider these two values. Now this value correct up to 2 decimal places 2.13, because the next value is 8, which is greater than 5. So this value correct up to 2 decimal places 2.13, and this value correct up to 2 decimal places 2.13, because the next value is 2, so we have to keep 3 as it is. So here we find that these two values are identical, correct up to 2 decimal places. And finally we find that these two values are also identical, correct up to, in fact, 3 decimal places. So if we round it up to 2 decimal places, then it will be 1.96. So from this table we find that from the fifth and sixth steps, these two successive approximations are identical, correct up to 2 decimal places. So this is our required solution. So we write the solution like that: x1, x2 and x3. Now where we find that x1 is minus 1.42, x2 is 2.13 and x3 is 1.96. So this is the required solution, correct up to 2 decimal places. So that completes the solution. With this, we complete this part. Remember that in Gauss-Seidel iteration method, the system of equations must be diagonally dominant. Otherwise, the method may not converge. So with this, we complete this part. In the next part, we shall discuss about matrix decomposition method to solve a system of linear algebraic equations. So see you in the next part. Until then, thanks for watching.